painting. Okay, continuing with our painting assignment. So we learned that as we rebuild a brush, that you can select that brush and then set the specifics of your brush settings. I'm going to vary them a little bit. I'm going to show you some of the other settings as well. Like I could use it to scatter if I want to fill up more space. Like this. Ooh. I can play with color dynamics, which will mix between my foreground and background color. And I can play with the opacity a little bit. And all of that, even the starting size, I can kind of build in. And then if I want that to be remembered in my brush settings, I click on this white arrow and I say Define New. And so you'll see there is now an instance of that same brush design that has all of those settings, which is pretty cool. Except I didn't make it pin pressure control, so now I'm going to even do it again. Now I'll lose these when I close Photopea, but remember I have that brush on a layer, so I can recreate it anytime. Okay, let's continue. So far, this is what my rough painting looks like. That's pretty much what I was wanting and expecting. There are some big patches missing in it. So let's try that with my new brush. Kind of filling that in, you'll see what it does. And I can also use Clone Stamp. And I can use Clone Stamp with one of my new brushes. So just like texture within texture. But what the Clone Stamp will do is it will give me more of that color and those variations, which can be helpful when you're doing something like fur. Now I might need my sketch, like that, and my base painting to kind of know what's light and what's dark. So I'm actually going to turn off my base painting just so I can see where everything needs to go. Where the white belly is. The white fur on the paw. And on the arm. And so far I'm painting all of this at 100%, which I really should be doing at more like 70. So there's a lot of little brush settings to keep in mind. There's always opacity and size to worry about. Okay, Aiden, we're working on assignment 7. All right, what else do I need? So you see all that work of doing the textures and those different color palettes on the face really pay off as you extend that to the rest. And when I have that base layer and I'm only working at 70%, you get that nice kind of golden glow behind this white fur. And I'm just trying to energetically fill in all of my areas. And I can model the form a little bit with refined paint on top. So using clone stamp from my own marks. And it's just like another form of brush. If I zoom in, you can kind of see all the texture and color variation that gives me. And it's all just from these marks. And the more you make, the more you can take from, sample from. And my cat is not very old, but old enough to have little white hairs that are mixed in with his black. So that gives some nice variation too. Just every once in a while. I'm going to turn on the navigator as well. You go to Window, Navigator. Looks like a compass on your sidebar there. And then I can always turn off my base painting and see where I'm missing a lot of paint still. On the underside of the tail and in the foot. So yeah, clone stamping was a really good idea. Once you have some texture you like, if you're doing an animal and they have that texture a lot of places, that can build it up for you. Especially at lower opacities. And I still like that I've got like that funky green in there. And you can make little experiments. And I like to soften edges through blending. All right, take care. So now I got to bring that same kind of quality in my painting of this wing, which is completely imagined. Right? So I'm going to go back to my brush. And I like to work pretty directionally. So I kind of hatch with my brush the angle of what I think the wing should be. Bring some of these different colors into it. Might be really cool if this wing is almost rainbow colored. Since my cat's colors are rather basic. And you notice at this point, it doesn't even matter if I have my sketch on or not. Like, all the edges are getting treated and kind of finished off in my rough painting. So now it's more about colors and texture and the edge control. So in my wing, I've got to really play with that. I'm going to switch to, I think, this instance of the brush. There we go, where it's a little bit sharper. Always check your opacity settings. And then I expect that this fictional wing would catch light on the back. Just like my cat would. All right.